49, Mom?
49.
Hey, let them start singing.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Clara. Happy birthday to you.
Yeah, blow them out.
Thank you.
Blow them out.
Pretty good, yeah. That was just a mean one. It didn't want to
Okay,
go
now,
out.
that's chocolate cake, and then we got zucchini bread, and what kind of pie did you bring? Apple pie.
I'll take zucchini bread.
Yeah, I'm down.
Is this Mama's glass?
Yeah, that's her glass.
And this is yours. That's a different kind. I like that.
That's a cap, yeah.
I like that. Put it on, Mom. Let's see how it looks. I just left all the tag on there. I thought
Ooh, that looked good. That's good. Hey, I like that.
That's a change. I like
Yeah, that's a good winter cap look. I mean, it will work good for winter, looks like.
Jackson House, Campbellsville, Kentucky. Street headed for Greensburg. His brother Paul and Mabel lived in Greensburg, and Paul worked at a department store over there. So he let we stopped at the house. Mabel was there, and we stopped there and visited with her, and he went on to the store to visit with Paul. So then came back, and we come back home, so that was that.
That was your date, huh?
That was our first date
Was that the first date you'd ever had with anybody?
with him.
It's
With anybody?
him.
No. No, I was 18.
So you've been dating a lot, huh?
You're so curious.
I've been dating since I was about 14.
You were. You had.
Me and Bonnie and Alfie used to all date at the same day. You know, we'd all have our boyfriends come up there, because back then a lot of boys didn't have cars. And they just come to your home, and we just stay there in the house, you know.
Yep.
And then I was passing a house next door to us, and the man that lived there, his brother was there. And I didn't know him. I might have seen him at church. His name was Nolan McGahey. So then somebody told me after that, I don't remember who it was, that Nolan wanted to date with me. So I think Mom and Dad was willing, because Nolan was just a good working boy.
And you were 14?
Worked on a farm, yeah. Nolan had a car. He had a Model T.
Was he 16 yet?
I wasn't.
But was he?
Yeah, he was probably 18 or 19, I don't know. But anyway, he had a Model T car. And that way, if one of us girls, me or Bonnie or Alfie, won, dated a boy that had a car. We could all three go places, you see.
So now, if you started dating when you were 14, you were born in 1916?
I was born in 1915.
1915. So 14 would have been 1929.
Well, Benny, see, I married though when I was 16. Run off and went to Jeffersonville, Indiana and got married.
You know, that's where we live now.
I know.
Yes, in
I
Jeffersonville.
run off and went to Jeffersonville, Indiana and got married. And then my husband had TB. His mother had died with TB and he wasn't too strong, I guess. So he died in a year after we married. And we had a little 4-month-old baby girl that he died one day and she died the next. She was laid on his arm in the casket.
With tuberculosis? She had tuberculosis?
Yeah, and it went into spinal meningitis and then to brain fever.
And y'all had a house?
No, we didn't have a house.
Where'd you live?
Well, he was at his grandparents' when he died, and me and the baby was up at Dad's, up at Mom and Dad's. We didn't have a house.
And so that, you were how old then? You were?
I was 17. I married at 16. We went to Jeffersonville, Indiana at 16. Then at 17, I was a widow. And then at 19, I met your daddy and married him.
And then when y'all met and you got married, where did you live?
Well, we went out, we married in November. We went out to his daddy's and stayed the rest of that year of school.
Where did you all get married? In Columbia?
No. Finus and Marie went with us up to an old preacher's house one night, old Brother Rice.
Did your parents know you were getting married?
Yeah, Davis had asked Dad if he could marry me. And so Finus and Marie went with us. They were married, but they didn't have any children, so they went with us. And we went to this old preacher's house. He'd already gone to bed, but he got up, and his wife, they were our witnesses, and Finus and Marie, and that's where we got married.
And then where did you all go to live?
Well, we went down to his daddy's and stayed. That was in November. We lived down there till April after his school was out. And then we rented a little house between his daddy's house and Columbia. A little new house just been built. And we lived there then till, and our first baby then was born in about a year. And she just lived 4 days.
And what year was that she was born?
We married in 34, and she was born in 35. And then...
And then Geraldine was next.
And Geraldine was born 37.
17.
Geraldine's 72.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting old. You're getting old, Zena.
No, I'm not.
You're just as old as you think you are.
So, Mama, I want to ask you, I am always interested in hearing about what things were like when you were real young on the farm, on your daddy's farm up there. Because people just can't imagine anymore what it was like. There was no cars, took all day to get to Columbia. You know, and y'all pretty much grew everything you ate or everything you used, didn't you? You pretty much created up there.
Everything but sugar and coffee and a few things that you couldn't raise.
Now, what did Granddad, what crops did he raise and sell?
Well, Dad sold fertilizer. He would have truckloads of fertilizer come up there, and then farmers would come there and get their fertilizer.
You mean he bought it from somebody else and resold it?
Well, he bought it from a company. And a whole big truckload.
And when you say truckload, you mean a truck with a gasoline engine?
Yeah, but it'd come in on a train, I guess, and they'd have to go to Columbia to get it.
So they didn't use a gas-powered truck. These were horse-drawn vehicles, which you're talking about.
No, they were gas.
When you were little?
Yeah.
Well, the
Yeah,
first
they were.
gas vehicles like that were not until about 1915 or so. I guess that would be right then.
Yeah, I think that was about the beginning of the trucking. And then the farmers would come there and buy their fertilizer. Well, Dad made money off of that. Mom could go out and sell the fertilizer to them.
But was your father selling any crops though? Was he growing any crops to sell, or just growing for y'all to eat?
Well, he raised tobacco.
He sold that then,
He
for
sold
sure.
a big
Yeah.
crop of tobacco. And he raised corn, he raised wheat.
Did he
But
sell the corn
I
and
don't
wheat?
remember whether he raised more than it took for us.
Did y'all make your own bread with that wheat?
Oh yeah.
You did?
He took the wheat and the corn to mill and had it ground, and we had big 50-gallon barrels that he would bring it back. He'd take it in a wagon to Columbia and have it ground into flour and to corn. And he'd bring it back up there, and in the smokehouse we had 2 or 3 big 50-gallon barrels. I guess you'd call them 50-gallon or more than that. We put the meal in one, and we had flour in another one.
But now at that time, nobody up there had cars.
My daddy got the second car up there,
And when was that?
1922.
And so you would have.
He depended on Dad to take him to town to the doctor or
Mhm,
something
yeah.
like that, you know.
Oh, it is good.
So that was in the 1920s.
Yeah.
Now you remember when the Great Depression started in 1929? Well, you was already married then. You'd already been married.
Yeah. Yeah. When they had the WPA, and
Yeah.
your daddy worked at a commodity place, giving away commodities.
In Columbia.
And that's when we learned to like grapefruit.
Really?
The government would send grapefruit down there, you know, and sugar was rationed. And
People never seen grapefruit before?
no, and then grapefruit ain't good if you don't put a little sugar on it. And sugar was rationed. So a lot of people couldn't afford as much sugar as they'd like, and they couldn't buy it and couldn't get it, didn't have enough stamps to get it. And your daddy worked at the place where he gave that away. And a lot of people that would come in there and to get their commodities, they wouldn't even want the grapefruit. So your daddy'd come home carrying a great big bag of grapefruit. And that's when we learned to like grapefruit.